welcome to you. I'm very pleased to present a brand new show for ALRA TV, coming every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And this show is going to be called How I Found My Destiny. And this show is going to have an array of guests from all different walks of life. But the one thing they will have in common is that they've come under the umbrella of the same destiny, His Divine Eminence Goa Shahi. And they would have come through many different pathways, gone through many different journeys. And it's going to be very, very interesting and exciting for us to join them on this journey. And I'm very much hoping that you will join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the How I Found My Destiny show. And tonight, for the very first show, I'm very honoured to present Farhan Qazi, who's going to share how he found his destiny this evening. A very warm welcome to you, Farhan.
I'm really glad that you have invited me on the show to tell the viewers about my experiences and my story, and most importantly, how I found my destiny.
Wow. So we'll kick off this brand new show. Let's just have a little look at your childhood. Take us back to your childhood, your memories, your upbringing, and your family memories.
Of course. We used to live in Saudi Arabia. Most of my childhood I've spent it there. But we used to come to Pakistan, back home for a few months. And whenever we would come back, I would see that most of my relatives, they have an association with His Divine Eminence, Rariaz Gorshai. And they would take his name, they had pictures of him in their houses, and they would talk about them. And then I would go back to Saudi Arabia. But my parents, they didn't believe in it. So my brothers, my sisters, they used to go to His Divine Eminence to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly in Saudi Arabia. I was just a regular student going to school, and I didn't know much about it because most of the people, they used to keep it to themselves. They didn't really tell much.
Right. And then after Saudi Arabia?
After Saudi Arabia, when we got back, we finally settled in Pakistan.
Right.
It was then I started going to school in Pakistan.
Yes.
Made many friends, and I would never really my brothers and my sisters, they would never really tell me much about Sarkar. And then in 2001, His Divine Eminence Gorshai went into occultation. That's when I noticed it and observed that everybody has just stopped talking about His Divine Eminence Gorshai.
Right.
That was the time when I also got busy into studies. Well, that was a very strange period for me as well, because as you know it, now we know it, that what His Divine Eminence has to offer to the world. But at that time, I didn't really know anything. I was in search for something,
Right.
and nobody would talk about His Divine Eminence Gorshai anymore because of the occultation. And I started going to the mosque.
Right.
I became a regular mosque goer. Started praying 5 times. I became a really good Muslim, and made friends in the mosque. And then it became a bit too much for me as well. I started seeing the Imam of the mosque. I used to spend time with him. The Muezzin of the mosque became a very good friend of mine. And then I would spend most of my time in the mosque.
Right.
I would go in the Asr prayer, come back in Maghrib prayer, spend 1 or 2 hours there. Then I would go into Maghrib prayer, sit there in the mosque, and would come back after the Isha prayer. I would spend some time with the Imam and would ask him some questions, ask questions about them, about Sunnah and other things. I remember I would do zikr as well that I learned from my elders.
Right.
I would do zikr as well, and then people would just come to me and they would say, "Why are you doing Allahu? You shouldn't do it. You'll go mad." And I would be really surprised that why would I go mad by just taking the name of the God? But I was quite young, didn't have much knowledge, so I started finding corners in the mosque where I could do this because I really enjoyed it. And after spending some time with the Imam of the mosque, spent quite some time. I even sat in the itikaf, so became a really good Muslim. Then at one point in time, the Imam of the mosque advised me that why don't you buy a Quran and then a translation of the Quran and start reading it. It would be good for you. And I said, that's a wonderful idea. I should do that. Yeah, I should learn more about my religion.
Yes.
And I told him, yeah, I've got a Quran at home. I've got a translated version at home. Then he said, whose Quran? That was the question that really surprised me. I said, what do you mean, whose Quran? The Quran, that's our book. They said, no, we mean that who translated it. You can't just read any translation. Then I showed them the Quran. I told them, okay, this is the one. They said, no, this is the wrong version you're reading. You need to go and buy this specific one. And that is the one that you need to read. Because otherwise you'll go astray. So I was really worried.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very important thing then. I need to buy this specific Quran. So I asked my father some money. And he asked me, what are you going to do with the money? I told him that I need to buy this specific Quran. I can't read any other versions. And he didn't really say much. He gave me the money. I went along to buy the Quran. I got back and I showed it to the Imam of the mosque. Okay, I've bought the Quran. He said, oh, wonderful. And that is the Quran. You see, then he started showing me a few ayats, few verses of the Quran. He showed me, he said that, okay, this is how we have translated it.
Yes.
And go and check the other Quran. They've translated it in a very wrong manner. They've got completely wrong translation. If you read that, you're never going to find the true path. You need to read this. And I said, I became really satisfied. I said, okay, I did the right thing then. It's good. I got back home. I started reading on it. The family got really worried that he's now going into sects. And they called my eldest brother. My eldest brother, he's keen on reading books. So he came to meet me. He used to live in Karachi, so he came back. And he met me and then he discussed this thing with me. He asked me, what am I doing? So I explained it to him. This is what happened. The Imam said this thing. And now I've finally got a good version of the Quran. I'm reading it. This is really good for me now.
Yes.
Then before even I tell him that what verses are wrong and what verses are right, he started telling me himself. He told me that, okay, he must have mentioned you this ayah, he must have mentioned you this verse. I said, yeah, how do you know? Then he told me that because I went through the same thing.
Right.
This is what these scholars do. Rather than telling you about the true path, rather than telling you how to, perform salat, they would make you fight among sects. They would just waste your time. You were not going to get anywhere. That's when I realized that I'm just wasting my time in the mosque.
Right. So you really had a watershed moment at that time.
That was a watershed moment, yes, thought, indeed.
Not despondent with God or the religion, but with the actual sectarism part.
Yes,
and
of course.
And the scholars. This is what
because
really...
One time, because I was too innocent to these things.
Right.
I didn't know much about the sects. There was a Shia friend. We were best friends. I asked him that it's prayer time, let's go pray. And he knew something about these things. He said that, no, I can't go to this mosque. These guys would mind. I told him, it's all right. Why would they mind? You're just praying. I'm praying. It's the same thing. He said, okay, let's go and you will see yourself. So we are standing side by side, starting to pray. As soon as we started, the other people, they left all their worship and they started looking at him like he's an alien.
Right.
And that really puzzled me. And after this Quran thing happened and my brother explained it to me, that's when I understood that it's a waste of time to go to these scholars. If I want to search God, I need to do it some other way. And
how did you feel at that point? I mean, what would you say your relationship was with God and your relationship with your religion at that time when you had that discovery? You must have been, after all that hard work, that dedication that you went through going to the mosque, to sort of be despondent.
It really felt like that even after doing all this, I'm really empty-handed. I really got nothing at all at the end. Still not on the true path. Then I must search for it.
Right.
That was really the case at that time, because at that time I thought I haven't gone onto the right path yet. I must be doing something really wrong.
Yes.
But because of all this, because of those scholars, I got fed up, and then I would just go to the mosque to pray. I stopped associating myself with the imam and the muezzin and other scholars as well. Along with that, I also tried. I love to. There was a thing. I always desired to see Prophet Muhammad. So apart from going to the mosque and meeting these imams and spending time with them, I bought another book from some other sheikh. His name is Ilyas Qadri. So he issued a book. He issued a rosary. He said that if you read the rosary this many times, you're gonna see Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, wonderful! This is what I was looking for. A pure method, simple." I started doing that. After I completed the method, how it was told in the book, nothing happened.
Right.
And after seeing all this, I finally got to know that all of them, they got nothing. They can't really give me anything.
So by this time, were you still in high school? at this time?
No,
You were in
I went to the college
college.
by this time. This took many years. And after the college was finished, this was the time when I was nearly finishing my college.
Right.
That was the time I had free time as well. And good thing was that I finally got to know that as of yet, I'm not on the true path. I need to find the true path.
Yes.
At this time, I remember that when I was young, I went to His Divine Eminence Sarkar Gaur Shahi. And then I started questioning myself, why in all of my relatives, why do they have pictures of His Divine Eminence in their house?
Right.
Why do they call upon him, and why do they take their name? And after the occultation, why did they stop taking their name? Seems like an important aspect of my life is just missing out. I need to find. This is the time when I started researching about His Divine Eminence. The first thing I did, I read all of their books, Rohani Safar, Tafatul Majalis, all the books that they had written.
Right.
I started reading all those books. As soon as I read those books, I was surprised in a good way that this is a very simple knowledge. And this is the true path. Everything has been explained so simply that even they've told that how you can produce divine light. And nobody else have told me that
Yeah.
before.
Wow.
And that was amazing.
A complete unique
Complete,
knowledge,
unique,
and
yet simple.
And did it feel familiar to you as well? A lot of people say, and
Yes.
me
Yes.
in particular, I've always felt the teaching just it seems so familiar. There's something you haven't heard before,
No.
but they resonate so much with us that we think this is something we have heard before. It's a very
That is true
mind-boggling,
indeed.
isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
It felt like I was searching for this type of knowledge,
Right, yeah,
and now found it.
yeah.
And then I said that I need to find more about it. So I started asking questions. And I asked questions to my brother, my
Right.
sister, my other relatives. And there was one of my uncles as well.
Yes.
So this uncle, he was very close to Sarkar, His Divine Eminence Gaur Shahi. He was their personal family doctor,
Right.
Dr. Jamil. So I had heard so many things about him. So I started asking questions to him. That who is Sarkar? What happened with you when you were with them? Tell me something, some story. He started telling me all sorts of stories. What happened with him, and how did he get into to know His Divine Eminence Gaur Shahi? And I would go to him daily. I loved to listen to the stories about him being with Sarkar,
Yes.
because it was something that I was searching for. I needed to know more about His Divine Eminence Gaur Shahi. I needed to know more. It was a thirst. And there came a point when I started asking questions. Okay, this is all good. This has all happened with you, but I want something similar to happen with me as well. I want to ascend as well. You are at a very good station. You must be, because you have spent so much time with them. I want to be there as well. So he said that, okay, he didn't answer many questions. At this point, he didn't have much answer. How to ascend, what to do next, where to go, what to do, and who is Sarkar, what about their picture on the moon. He didn't have many answers. And I had already read all these things in the books, and I would ask questions according to those, and he didn't have answer for those.
Right.
And then he said that, okay, why don't you take Izn Zikr Qalb, the heart initiation from me?
Right.
I said, yeah, that would be wonderful if my heart starts taking the name of God. That would be amazing. That would be start of my journey, because that is what spirituality is all about. It starts from the heart. And he gave me the initiation of the heart. Now, the funny thing is, I took the initiation and I was really hoping, really waiting, because this was a moment, right? I was really waiting for something to be happen to me. But nothing happened. 3-4 months passed. I go back to him and I tell him, Uncle, nothing has happened. Could you please do the initiation again? Maybe something went wrong. He said, oh, is it? Okay, let me do it again. So he told me, close your eyes, say Allahu 3 times after me. I did it. After I did that, he said, oh, okay, let's wait now. Again, 3-4 months passed. Nothing happened. Then I went to him again. Uncle, nothing happened yet. Again, I've taken initiation of the heart from you 2 times. And then he said that, okay, let me try once more. And then he gives it to me again. This time, 2-3 months passed again. By this time, I was hopeless. I started thinking there must be something really wrong with me, because he is giving me heart initiation. He is at a very good station.
Yes.
He's got so many stories. So why don't I get this initiation from him? There must be something wrong with my heart or something. I got really depressed as well. And nothing was happening inside. All my thirst still remained unquenched. Then, luckily, one of my brother, he told me a few things about Sarkar. At this time, I was at the university. And I was getting nowhere. So out of nowhere, my brother, he just started telling us things. He told me that Sarkar has pictures on the moon. Why? Because he's the awaited Messiah. He started telling me about his divine eminence station being as a Mahdi, as Kal Ki Avatar, as being the awaited Messiah. And then he told me about the picture on Hajr Aswad, on sun, moon. And I was really happy to learn this. This was for the very first time I got to know many things about Sarkar, about their personal being. He told me many things. I was really happy. And after everything, he would ask me, after every session, he would ask me, is it too much for you? And I would tell him, no, this is what I've been waiting for.
Wow.
Please tell me more. And the more he told me, the more questions I would ask. And then at the end, he told me that the main thing is that you need to have the love of God. You need to have love of His Divine Eminence Garsha in your heart.
Wow.
So I told him, okay, let's do it then. How do I get it? At this point, he said that, I don't know how to get it. Only His Divine Eminence Garsha can give you this. I don't have the method. So I got to know that, okay, he's got some knowledge, but he doesn't have the way. Like my uncle, he didn't have the way either. They got the knowledge, they got the stories. Similarly, my brother had the stories and the knowledge, but both of them, they didn't have the way. They were the same like this other scholars.
Right.
By this time, I turned to Google.
Oh, wow, what a search.
Yeah.
So you've been given this false hope twice now. Once that you would be in contact with the Prophet Muhammad,
Yes.
and once that your heart would be activated. So you've been let down twice.
Yes.
And previously to that, obviously, with the scholars, but you still continued on your search. So now you're on Google. And
now I'm on Google.
Right.
So finally I turned to Google and I started searching about, because I had heard about the knowledge, and I had heard about the initiation of the heart. So I started typing these things. I started searching by the name, typing Sarkar's, His Divine Eminence name. And as soon as I did that, Sufi Master Yunus Al Ghaur's picture started coming up in Google.
Right.
And along with YouTube videos, articles, and I started wondering, who is this person? And he's talking about love of God. He's talking about love of His Divine Eminence Garsha. and he's talking about heart initiation. But nobody, nor my uncle, neither my brother, they are taking his name. And then I found the website goharshai.com as well. I went onto the website. There were articles there. I started reading on the articles. This was for the very first time I found out. As soon as I read those articles, all the stories that my uncle told me, he had been reading those stories from here, and he never mentioned this, the source.
Busted.
Yes, busted. I would say that. And the same thing with my brother as well. He was telling me all that knowledge. He was reading that knowledge from these videos, and he was watching these videos and was telling me. And he never revealed the source. So the next time I confronted my brother, I told him, "You've been telling me all this knowledge about His Divine Eminence Gohar Shai and about the spirituality, but you never revealed the source. I found that out today myself. Could you please tell me who is Sufi Master Yunus Al Gohar? And what is goharshai.com? What is this all about? You never mentioned their name." Then he told me that Sufi Master Yunus Al Gohar, he has got all the knowledge. Yes, indeed, I never revealed the source, but I have been reading it from there. Then he told me that there is a Yahoo conference.
Right.
In that Yahoo conference, Sufi Master Yunus Al Gohar, he delivers a speech daily.
Wow.
He talks about spirituality, he talks about love of God, love of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shai, and he gives heart initiation.
So finally, it's all falling into place now. Okay, so now you're on Yahoo Messenger. And
Nah.
did you actually get to speak to Sufi?
Now,
Master?
this is the moment.
Right.
This is the memory that I cherish most.
Wow.
And I can never forget. He joined the Yahoo conference, and Sufi Master Yunus Al Gohar is speaking live. Sorry.
No, that's
And he asked me, "Do you need heart initiation?"
wow. After this journey.
I said, "Yes, I need it." And then sorry, he asked me, "Okay, repeat after me." I took the heart initiation. As soon as I took the heart initiation, it was like an explosive has gone off in my chest. It was so magical, it was so divine, I can't explain. I felt it straight away. The moment they gave me the heart initiation, I felt it.
Hail Gohar Shai. Wow, wonderful.
I felt it straight away.
Yes.
I can't forget that moment, the feelings that I started crying at that time, tears coming out of my eyes. And that's when I knew that really now I found my destiny.
Yes, this is how you found your destiny. One,
That was the moment.
absolutely amazing.
That's when I knew that nobody else had the authority, or nobody else had this thing. Nobody else could give it.
And as much as you could after that, you joined the conference and listened to those
Oh yes.
wonderful lectures,
Oh yes.
perfectly presented.
I couldn't stay
perfectly-
with them.
Yeah, exactly what you were looking for. And Farhan, what about after that? You came to the UK.
After that, everything changed.
Right.
After that, everything completely changed. My whole life changed. Because at this point, I knew nobody else had the knowledge, nobody else had the true path. And not just talk, practical. When I got to know about this, and I knew that what I have found, what I have gotten, I need to tell the world. After that, I started spreading this message of love. And then I came to UK and I started spreading the message of love here.
Yeah.
Everywhere, every chance I get,
Which
I
is,
start to do
as
that.
Sufi Master said, this is proof that it has entered your heart, that you
Yes.
just wanted to share this
Yes,
with
indeed.
others straight away. As soon as you came,
Yes.
and you've been doing it ever since. I can most certainly vouch for that. You're very active in mission work.
So-
It's just been a wonderful journey. So what kind of changes have you felt in your lifestyle, in your personality, in your character?
Lifestyle, personality, and character, everything has completely changed. Now I don't really feel any difference between a Hindu, a Jew, a Christian.
Yes.
Now I know everyone has got the potential to love God. Nobody is special. I'm not special. I've been granted this by God. Similarly, some other person can be granted the same thing, the same bounty by God as well. And nobody's greater than anybody else, except if he's got the love of God in him. And God has put the potential to love him in everybody. And that's what I would like to tell the viewers as well, that try this. Try to listen to this. Try to, because the taste of pudding is in eating. If you really try and go on, take the heart initiation, see for yourself whether your heart can commemorate the name of God or not. When it happens to you, when you see that your souls are taking and your souls are enlightened with the love of God, that's when you will know that yes, this is a true message.
And just to think now, after those early days of Yahoo Messenger, now of course we have ALRA TV, and these wonderful Sufi courses, starting with the elementary Sufi course, the Western Sufi course, the Art of Living.
Wow.
I mean, it's just gone
on another level.
It's on a completely higher level. And of course the mission, the spreading of this beautiful message of peace and love has been made very easy for us from His Divine Eminence and our Sufi master, Yunus Al-Gar. And it's just been a wonderful journey, a very emotional journey. Thank you for sharing your innermost secrets and there's been a lot of
thank you so much for
digging deep and revelations there. It's been really wonderful. And thank you very much, viewers, for sharing this journey with us. Very first of the programs that are going to be every Wednesday at 9 p.m. How I Found My Destiny. And next week we're going to be going over to America for Imran Mati. He's going to be sharing his journey, his pathway to that destiny of His Divine Eminence Goa Shahi. A very different path to what we've heard from Farhan tonight. But as I mentioned before, the destination is the same, and that's the main thing, that we're all here now under the warm, comfortable and safe umbrella of His Divine Eminence. And we're all one big family together. So thank you for joining me, and stay safe, and a very good evening to you. Thank you very much, Farhan.
Thank you very much for inviting.
Good evening.
Good evening.